The megastars, the millionaires, the masterminds. Seriously wealthy, glamorous and influential. They are the rich and famous. These people have changed the face of sports forever. They are some of the most celebrated sports stars of our lifetime, receiving many awards and plenty of cash for their efforts. At the age of 22, Lewis Hamilton became the first Formula One rookie ever to place on the podium in his first 3 races. The first to nab first place in both the American and Canadian Grand Prix races, and the youngest driver to ever lead the Drivers' Championship. On course to become the richest sportsman in British history and often referred to as the Tiger Woods of racing, there's no telling how much money Hamilton can make and how much more he can achieve in the world of racing. After beginning with a successful go-karting career, the celebrated youngster began tearing up the car racing scene on the junior Formula circuit in 2002. That year, he finished 3rd in the Formula Renault series and placed a first a year later. It took him 2 years to master the next level of racing, the Formula 3 Euro series, where he won 15 of the 20 races in 2005. He captured another championship, this time in the GP2 series in 2006, and a Formula One opportunity came knocking when McLaren driver Kimi Raikkonen left the team. Two-time Formula One champion Fernando Alonso already occupied one McLaren seat, and McLaren gave Lewis the opportunity to prove himself in the world of Grand Prix racing.
When I first started watching Formula One, I think I was about 5 or 6. And it was mainly because at the weekends I spent my weekends with my dad at my dad's house, and he was always watching the Grand Prix. So I sat with him and watched it, and obviously the 2 red and white McLarens were the cars to be in, and they were the most attractive, and you know, they had the 2 best drivers.
Despite his meteoric rise to stardom, Lewis hasn't appeared to let fame go to his very wealthy head. Since his childhood days racing karts under the guidance of his father Anthony, one thing has remained basically the same: his distinctive helmet and the people who designed it when he was young. Between them, the young Briton and his father added the blue, green and red ribbon effect during his rise to the top. He signed a contract with McLaren Mercedes in 2008 worth over $130 million over 5 years. But Lewis has barely spent any money since being propelled to worldwide fame. His elevation to sporting superstardom was evident when he reportedly exchanged his one-bedroom flat in Surrey for a $20.5 million apartment in Monaco. The sport's most successful rookie says he is trying to be sensible with his money. He says, "I am happy driving my Mercedes-Benz, and clothes-wise, I'm sorted. I don't really have to spend any money apart from food and rent." Now living in Switzerland to escape the glare of the media, he brought himself a $5.5 million 3-bedroom apartment with views of Lake Geneva and the mountains. If only we all had to escape the cameras and the glare of the media. Not only is Lewis a celebrated winner, he is handsome, articulate and brilliant with corporate guests, which is why he is the face of Vodafone, the mobile phone giant, and a poster boy for luxury watchmaker Tag Heuer. These endorsements earn him an additional $20 million a year. The first black driver in Formula One history and a role model for millions of youngsters, Lewis Hamilton is one of his sport's biggest drawcards. He can probably be described as the world's most famous golfer ever. And it's pretty easy to understand why. For many professional athletes, fame doesn't come easy. It takes years of practice, persistence, and patience. In Tiger Woods' case, it was easy. He was a child prodigy. He began to play golf at the age of 2 and appeared on the Mike Douglas show, putting against comedian Bob Hope. By age 5, he had already made it into Golf Digest and the ABC's That's Incredible. He participated in the Junior World Golf Championships in the 9 to 10 age group, the youngest age group available, winning the championship. Mind you, he was only 8 years old. He went on to win that championship a total of 6 times. We've always known him as Tiger Woods, but it wasn't until he turned 21 that he legally became Tiger. He was born Eldrick Woods, but nicknamed Tiger. Once he began winning golf events, people started referring to him as Tiger, so he decided to leave it that way. And with the fortune he was about to build up, he was entitled to do whatever he pleased. Tiger began his professional golfing career in 1996 and signed a $40 million endorsement deal with Nike. His first round of professional golf didn't prove that successful, with him tying for 60th place. But he went on to win 2 events in the next 3 months to qualify for the Tour Championships. For his efforts, he was named Sports Illustrated's 1996 Sportsman of the Year and PGA Rookie of the Year. He then began wearing his trademark red t-shirt, which is a link to his college days and a colour he believes symbolises aggression and assertiveness. Like many sports stars, Tiger has had his shares of ups and downs, but it hasn't stopped him from being in the #1 position many times. By the end of 2007, Tiger had won 63 official PGA Tour events, 22 individual professional titles, owns 2 team titles in the World Golf Championships, World Cup, and won the inaugural FedEx Cup. He has been the PGA Player of the Year a record 9 times and has spent 9 years since the beginning of his career atop the world rankings.
As I said, it's been a fantastic year. I've had a lot of good things happen to me at the right times, and I was very fortunate enough to take advantage of those breaks. And I worked very hard to put myself in position to win tournaments, but ultimately you need a little luck on your side. And I hit a couple squirrely shots that I ended up getting away with, and next you know, those happen at crucial times.
In 2006, Tiger became the highest paid athlete for that year, earning a whopping $100 million. It has been predicted that Tiger will become the world's first billionaire athlete, and with a yearly income like this, it's not that hard to believe. Like every other millionaire out there, Tiger likes to invest his money wisely. In 2006, he and his wife purchased a residential property in Florida. The $39 million estate landed them with neighbours such as Celine Dion and Greg Norman. And like Greg, Tiger has a love of yachts. He owns a 155-foot yacht, which he apparently paid $20 million for. But he does give back. He has established several charitable and youth projects. One in particular, Tiger Jam, which is an annual fundraising concert that has raised over $10 million for his Tiger Woods Foundation. These concerts have big headlining acts such as Sting and Jon Bon Jovi. It's pretty safe to say that Tiger's a roaring success. Slater is classed as one of the most successful professional surfers in the history of the sport. According to his peers, he is a surfing genius. He is an 8-time world champion and has been helped along the way by his sponsorship with the surfing manufacturer Quiksilver. He was involved and competed in the X Games in 2003 and 2004 and was a big factor that helped the East Coast beat the West Coast team 2 years in a row in the surfing competition. In his early career days, Kelly was chosen by People magazine as one of the 50 most beautiful people in the world. And besides surfing, he has been known to do some modelling for Versace and formed his own band, appropriately named The Surfers. They released an album of surf music called Songs from the Pipe. He is well remembered for his role as Jimmy Slate in Baywatch. This role was created just for Kelly and led to the on-again off relationship with the beach Barbie Pamela Anderson. He was not only a world-famous surfer, he was becoming a world-famous celebrity. In 1998, after achieving every surfing goal he'd ever had, Kelly found himself totally bored with life, even with a salary of $1 million a year. The night after he won his 6th world title, he retired from full-time competition. He continued to take part in certain events, but was now finding time to explore other activities.
When I was a kid, I set out to win world titles and win pipe contests and stuff, but I never really had my heart totally set on the Eddie Cow contest. I guess a kid, I never thought I was going to be a big wave surfer, and then it happened. I don't know what to say. It just, it all went my way today, I guess.
He scored several acting jobs, toured with his band, opened a Kelly Slater-themed surf shop, launched his own video game, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, and released his own autobiography called Pipe Dreams. In his downtime, Kelly hangs at home, but which one? He has homes in Australia, Florida, and Hawaii. In 2005, he competed in the Billabong Pro Tahiti event on the Association of Surfing Professionals World Championship Tour. He set a record by scoring 2 perfect 10s in the final and was the first to have a perfect heat since the 2-wave scoring system was implemented in 2003. Kelly took the sport of surfing to a new level by trying moves a little different to the long, elegant carves that was the preferred style of old-school surfers. He introduced the skating-style tricks and aimed to get big air off the waves. It was manoeuvres like these that cemented Kelly as the world's greatest surfer and led to the 8 world titles and over 30 WCT victories. It was in 2007 that Kelly passed Tom Curran's long-standing WCT victory record of 33 when he won at the Boost Mobile Pro. Kelly also shows a passion for preserving oceans globally and protecting reefs from extreme weather through his relationship with Reef Check. Reef Check's main mission is to protect and rehabilitate reefs worldwide. That's why Kelly came up with the Kelly Slater Invitational, an event designed to mix high-energy surfing with good times in the sun. Some of the world's best surfers and entertainers take part in this unpredictable event. Kelly has revolutionised the way people think about surfing. It's no wonder he's been dubbed the Michael Jordan of surfing. Roger Federer is widely regarded as the best tennis player of his generation and among the elite group of all-time great male tennis players. By his mid-20s, he had already spent a record 215 consecutive weeks ranked as the world's #1. At the beginning of 2008, Roger was named the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year and for a record 4th consecutive time. Growing up in Switzerland, Roger had considered becoming a professional football player. Luckily for him, he didn't. He instead decided to pursue a tennis career. This was quite a smart move for Roger, as this now brings him paychecks of roughly $33 million a year. In recent years, he has won 12 Grand Slam singles titles, 3 of them at the Australian Open, another 5 at Wimbledon, and 4 at the US Open. He has received 4 Tennis Masters Cup titles and 14 ATP, Association of Tennis Professionals, Masters Series titles. Pretty hard to believe this was all achieved by his mid-20s. He appeared in a record 10 consecutive Grand Slam men's singles finals, from the 2005 Wimbledon Championships through to the 2007 US Open. Unfortunately, his lucky streak ended in early 2008 at the Australian Open. Since Roger began his professional tennis career, he has managed to launch his own fragrance called RF Cosmetics and score lucrative endorsement deals with major companies like Nike, Rolex and Gillette. He has starred along other major sporting stars like Tiger Woods while promoting these brands. Aside from his tennis career and endorsement deals, Roger is highly involved in various charities. He established the Roger Federer Foundation to help the disadvantaged and to promote sports to young people. He became a Goodwill Ambassador of UNICEF in 2006, having since visited Tamil Nadu, one of the worst tsunami-affected areas in India, as well as South Africa. He has also raised awareness of AIDS, appearing in UNICEF public messages. It's almost hard to believe, but Roger, a man who is recognised by many tennis fans as one of the greatest players to ever live, is also very down to earth. He hasn't let fame go to his head, and to prove this, will wait patiently in lines when at restaurants. And with all the millions he's accumulated over the years, he doesn't even own a home, just 2 flats. Once a young boy, he idolised fellow tennis players like Stefan Edberg and Boris Becker. But I guess now the tennis shoe's on the other foot, with many young aspiring tennis stars idolising him. Roger holds a number of records in tennis history, the most prominent of which is that he has won the Australian Open, Wimbledon and the US Open in the same year 3 times, in 2004, 2006 and 2007. Even with all the titles and history-making records he has already achieved, and by such a young age, I'm pretty sure Roger Federer still has a few more aces up his sleeve. Every time Michael Jordan stepped onto the court, he commanded attention. Proclaimed the greatest player of all time, Michael won 3 back-to-back championships, retired, and returned to win another 3 back-to-back championships. Along the way, he won 5 MVP awards and only 10 scoring titles. After a standout career at the University of North Carolina, this celebrated star joined the NBA's Chicago Bulls in 1984, where he quickly emerged as one of the stars of the league. His leaping ability, illustrated by performing slam dunks, earned him the nickname Air Jordan. He won his first NBA championship in 1991 with the Bulls and followed that achievement with successive titles in 92 and 93, securing an elite three-peat.
That may be his best opportunity to get an open look in transition. Patrick with the pass that misfired. Jordan with the behind-the-back save. Here's
Michael stunned the sporting world when at the beginning of the '94 season, he abruptly left the NBA to pursue a career in baseball with the Chicago White Sox. The next year, Michael announced his return to the NBA through a two-word press release, "I'm back." He led the Bulls to 3 additional championships in 1996, 97 and 98 before retiring the following year. Michael is also noted for his product endorsements. He fueled the success of Nike's Air Jordan sneakers, which were introduced in 1985 and remain popular today. The NBA superstar also starred opposite Bugs Bunny in the live-action animation film Space Jam. The film was a box office smash and introduced Michael Jordan to millions of kids who were more than happy to buy his products. In 1999, he earned an estimated $47 million for his endorsement deals alone, with such companies as Nike, Coca-Cola, McDonald's and Gatorade.
Nice shot.
Which won't score again.
I won't score again? Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
At his peak, he earned $16 million annually for sponsoring Nike's products. And when Michael spoke, the masses listened.
It's gotta be the tag.
One of the best defensive players the game has ever seen, he came out of retirement and returned for 2 more NBA seasons in 2001 as a player for the Washington Wizards, before finally putting the ball down in 2003. The superstar's income from the endorsements is estimated to be several $100 million. When Michael's power at the ticket gates was at its highest point, the Bulls regularly sold out every game they played in, whether home or away. Because of this, he set records in player salary by signing annual contracts worth in excess of $30 million per season. One of the most marketed sports figures in history, Michael Jordan was a phenomenal athlete and had a bigger influence on the game of basketball than any other player in history. Magic Johnson once said, "There's Michael Jordan, and then there's the rest of us." And given the size of his bank account, he definitely remains in a league of his own.